Hello, everybody. It's Larry here. I haven't been on YouTube for a while. Actually, this year was so busy, uh, just didn't have time to do a lot of my normal marketing. I still did pretty good, according to Mondinium. I think this week, according to them, I'm number one in Canada on social media and number two in the world. But that's all irrelevant. I just wanted to do an analysis from my perspective of what took place in the real estate market in Nova Scotia. Now, Nova Scotia is the only market I'm concerned with. A lot of people will do general analysis of the Canadian real estate market, and if I've learned anything over the years, I've learned that real estate is local, right? So from your perspective, it's what's going on in your local market that matters. And I work in the Nova Scotia market, mainly the commuting community from Halifax, Dartmouth, and and beyond. We cover a large service area, mostly rural, and I'm a licensed real estate broker and licensed appraiser, and I'm also a mortgage broker. So I bring three perspectives to what's going on in the market, from listing and selling, appraising. I do commercial appraisals too, and financing, right? I help a lot of small business people arrange business financing. And we also have a business brokerage division that this year, so they tell me, we were in the top 25 business brokers in Canada, which I think just must be longevity. I'm sure we're not as busy as somebody up in Toronto, but we have listed and sold a lot of small businesses. And the perspective that I bring, I tell people I have 45 years of mistakes and overcoming them. And trying to interpret the real estate market, number one, who could have ever predicted a pandemic, right? And who could ever have thought that the market would defy this pandemic? And that's what it did. And to give you an explanation of what I think happened here, you have to go back to 2008 when we had the financial crisis. And in our area, like again, I said, I'm not concerned with Toronto or Vancouver. Those aren't my service areas. But in my area, in 2008, we went into what I would say was the longest buyer's market I've seen. We had 10 years where it was hard to sell a house, and people were asking me at that time what was going on, and I told them the 10 years previous to 2008, real estate doubled, right? And then from 2008 to 2019, it pretty much flatlined. So that was 11 years when we didn't see much of an increase in values, right? But we've seen, increases in everything else. We had inflation, building material went up, cost of labor went up, cost per square foot to build a house went up. But the market didn't, didn't exhibit that, right? Houses were selling for maybe $100 a square foot when it was costing $150 to build them, and now we're up over $200 a square foot to build a house, and the market's still not supporting that. So I'm telling people, if anyone thinks that the increase in prices is over, I think you're wrong. I think the market will come up to and beyond replacement cost, and what I think happened is, even though there's a pandemic, there was a 10-year backlog of people. A lot of young people got caught in increasing rents, paying back student loans, and the cost of technology, right? 20 years ago, nobody was paying $100 a month for internet, right? So when you think about it, it was just a combination of factors that kept those young people out of the market. And you had a lot of baby boomers downsizing, so you had an oversupply of housing and an undersupply of home buyers, right? So when we were coming into 2020, we seen a bit of a turn in 2019. The market picked up; it was a little better, and I was predicting, a strong market for 2020. And then the pandemic hit, and most of us were wondering, what's going to take place in the real estate market, because that's our industry, right? And anyways, 2020 ended up being a banner year for anyone selling real estate that worked. Now I know a lot of people went off on CERB payments and didn't work, and I understand that. Some of our people that just said they didn't want to take the chance, and here I am with definitely a high risk category, my age, but I chose to work, right, and I ended up this year. Over 100 couples that either bought or sold a house through me, and we did over 200 appraisals in house, right? It was a phenomenal year, right? And now here we are between Christmas and New Year's, and a lot of my clients, I have a lot of investor clients. They're asking my advice. What do I think's coming down the pipe, right? Well, I've explained what happened, 2008, and what I think happened, right? But the future, I think, will come back to somewhat normal, but not normal the way it was, right? We're going to have a period of time. There's industries that are impacted, the airline industry. There's 6,500 people, I think, work at the Halifax airport. We can't run at 5 to 10% capacity for too long without substantial layoffs. You've got the restaurant industry. We had a restaurant for 15, 20 years, and I know there's no sit-down restaurant that can operate and survive at 50% capacity, right? So it'll fall back on those people that have the assets to carry them through until things do come back to normal, and there will be those that won't, right? So CMHC, they were predicting a 20% drop in values, and a 50% increase in foreclosures, right? Well, I personally don't think that we'll see the drop in values that substantially, right? I think values will hold if not go up some. And I think the market will absorb, like you may see some increases in foreclosures, but anybody that has any equity is going to get their house on the market and get it sold before they lose it, right? So 50% increase, I think, might be kind of strong. Time will tell on that. There will be people that will have cash flow problems and be forced to sell their house, right? Hopefully, someone will explain to them, either you have equity and you can sell your house and get your equity out before having to go bankrupt, or if you have no equity, right, as long as you keep your mortgage paid, you can go bankrupt and hang on to your house. Now, not everybody will explain that to you, but if there's no equity in the house, the bank won't force you to sell it. So if you run into that circumstance, make sure you keep your mortgage paid, and you can go, do a consumer proposal or go bankrupt and still hang on to your house, right? If there's no equity, right? And when the trustee is looking for a forced sale value, that's a value that the house will definitely sell for in 90 days, and so that's not an inflated value. Quite often, I do a lot of opinions of values in those cases, right? And normally, if you've got a fairly substantial mortgage, quite often there's not enough equity for creditors to go after. So you can keep your mortgage paid, keep your house, and get through the consumer proposal or the bankruptcy. But that's you have to talk to the trustee about that. But that's kind of how that works. So other than that, I didn't mean to get doom and gloom. I think that 2021 is not going to be a bad year for the real estate industry. I think that we're going to stay busy. I think it's probably going to be a good time to sell your house. The time will tell on that. That crystal ball is pretty cloudy, so these are opinions only. and I give them tongue in cheek, right? Yeah. So, anyways, that's kind of my message. I think we'll probably have a pretty good 2021. We will start to see the impact of the COVID on the economy. That rooster will come home to roost, and we'll all have to deal with it within our own industries, whatever those may be. So I'd like to wish you all Happy New Year and all the best for 2021. Thanks so much.